When do I start talking? Do I start talking now? Go? Does that go? Okay. What's up, everybody? It's Robby, the String Walkers. String Walkers. That's what we do. We string walk. String Walkers Archery. Coming at you today with a shot process video. Last year, we went over Zach's world record shot process. I don't have a world record, so we're just gonna go over my shot process. We don't have anything fancy to say with that. So basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a string, a random spot, right there works. You're gonna push and pull, and you're gonna let go. Just like that. Got it? Cool, you can cut the video. Okay, for real. My physical form follows something that's closely related to NTS. Kind of similar to Zach. We were taught by the same people for the most part, so we follow kind of the same form. So we follow just the basic steps, get our stance. For me, I just have a nice, relaxed, little bit, for me it's a little inside shoulders, shoulder width apart. Back foot is parallel to the shooting line, if you imagine a shooting line, and then that front foot is brought just a little bit back and kicked out at roughly 40, 45 degrees, something like that. Basically with stance, I just want something that's comfortable. When I shoot different games like field or 3D, obviously the terrain is not always ideal, so I have to be used to shooting like this, or if I have to take like a big step back or change how I'm standing. The one thing I don't change is, my general aiming position of the feet. I don't want to have to turn more or less than what I normally do. This is just kind of my standard baseline stance. After I get that stance, you just do a little happy feet. Make sure we get in the right spot. We get our crawl. So this is 40 meters. So I'm gonna get my 40-meter crawl. I bump the bottom of the knock locator. I understand that's not as precise as say if you were to go to the bottom of the knock, but this is just what I've always done. Go to the bottom of the knock, find my spot, and I go down to where my fingernail meets the top of the leather, and then I keep good solid pressure on that so it doesn't move. Next I go into my grip, get a nice solid grip, the grip that Yaka and I designed, the champion grip. My hand slides right up in there. I find that consistent point on that lifeline of my hand. I meet the edge of the grip. I put a little bit of pressure in there, and I put my front middle finger on the front of the riser. This helps keep that tension consistent all the way through. Helps me aim a little steadier. If I'm in the wind or something like that, I can just put a little bit of extra pressure in there. I feel the pressure point in my palm a little bit more, and that, for me, it just helps me hold a little bit steadier. But usually it's fairly relaxed on there. Okay, then I go into set. For set, what I do is I will push down this front shoulder, push down the back shoulder, make sure that they're nice, strong, solid, engaged, and I set a little bit of tension. When I set this tension, I'm basically placing where I want all the tension and the weight of the bow to go. So I feel everything on this front shoulder, nice, engaged, strong, to keep that bow arm solid. And on this back half, when I start this set, I want to feel it in my back. I want to feel it in these lats, right in here, to start my shot. If I don't start there, the tension is probably going to go into my arm. It's not going to be very strong. It's probably not going to hit the middle. So we'll go up to that point. We get our crawl. We get our hook. Grip. Set that. Set. And we come to set up. For set up, I'm drawing the bow as I come up and rotate. What this does is it makes it so it's easier on the shoulder joints. We're using the big muscles in our body to draw the bow instead of just, pulling back with our arms. That makes us more consistent and more repeatable over the course of a tournament. Go and demonstrate up to this point. We got our grip, hook, set, set up. So at this point in time, the muscles are engaged where they need to be engaged, in these back muscles here. So on the back side, I'm feeling it right around in the shoulder blade, in my lat area. On the front side, I feel it underneath my armpit. After I get to the end of that setup position, I'll go into like a loading phase where I try to bring my whole shoulder back. So when I do that, that's kind of finishing that where the tension should be, nice and strong in those big back muscles instead of in our arms. How we doing, Zach? It's pretty rough. Yeah. Set, set up, and draw. So when I do that final drawing motion, I come straight into my anchor. And for me, the way I shoot, my anchor is between my two canines here. My mouth is partially open when I shoot. If you watch, I don't have a clenched mouth like this. It's slightly open. It's for other parts of my shot to work the way that they do. So I just go right between those two. The top side of my pointer finger, I feel it on the canine on the top side. It's a good solid reference point. It's not gonna move. I pick that over just corner of the mouth, because the corner of your mouth can move in kind of whatever direction you want to pull it. And that doesn't make for a very consistent shot. The teeth don't move, especially your top ones. We're gonna shoot a shot here just so you can see everything up to this point. Set, set up, load and anchor. Okay, so after I come into anchor, what I do is I continue that movement back and around. I try to bring the elbow back just till I kind of feel locked in place. I don't overdo it. I'm not trying to stretch, 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 pull, pull, pull as hard as I can. I just get it to where I'm nice, set, and settled. Once I get to that point, I'm going to do a kind of a check throughout my whole body to make sure everything feels good. Everything feels okay, everything feels the way it's supposed to. That I'm not like swaying back and forth, misbalance. I didn't misset the tension on my fingers. Something's not goofy with my grip. The works, right? I just do a kind of a scan over my body, make sure that everything feels solid. And once we kind of have the green light, then we can transition on to like aiming and execution. So after that kind of load and transfer is done, I get to my aim, and I do something a little bit different. At least I'm doing it this year. I've always had a difficult time reaching 50 meters, which is our max distance for world field, world 50 meter, all that jazz. So I decided to change it up this year. I decided to aim with the wire on my wrist. So I have it set up just enough to where you can see just a little itty bit of it sticking out from underneath the arrow. What this does is this gives me probably another 10-ish yards, 8 to 12 yards, meters, whatever you want to call it, of extra room to shoot. So normally when I wouldn't have the poundage to reach 50 meters, I now have it easily. It makes my crawls a little bit deeper for the close stuff, but it is really nice to aim with it, especially coming from the bow hunting world where I have a set of sights, pins to aim with. This is kind of like a pin that I just get to put in the middle of the gold and execute. Traditionally, I've just done the 6 o'clock hold on the gold with the crest of the arrow. We're changing it up this year, and I'm honestly a really big fan of it. I probably won't go back. After that point, after I get to aim and I'm settled, I just make sure that my body is in the right position. I'm feeling tension in the right spots. And then this is something that I do differently than most. I have a trigger. That trigger I use with my lips. Okay, it is a slight separation of my lips, and as soon as that seal breaks apart, that's my trigger to shoot. There's many ways to engage this trigger. As I've been finding out, I've been doing this for probably 3 years now. I've been using this trigger, and It's a lot of work. We're gonna go a little more in depth with that here, but that is where my execution starts. Is I'll come back here and then I will either A, try to engage that trigger to get it to break, or I let it break subconsciously, just depending on how we're feeling that particular day or that particular tournament. And then once that shot breaks, all of the tensions and systems that I've set up in my body naturally follow through to make a nice clean shot. All right, so the trigger that I use is, there were some schools of thought behind it, right? There's lots of really great triggers out there, lots of people that teach them very well, and a lot of people that are fairly successful with them, win pretty big shoots. I picked my trigger because I wanted something that didn't have an influence on the system of the shot itself. So a grip sear, when you're at full draw, you're pulling on the grip, pulling on the bow, like so. A lot of people really, really love that system. Just for me, it felt like I put too much tension in the bow arm, and it kind of threw some stuff off. Made me not focus on the right part of the shot, right aspects of the shot. So that didn't work for me. I used a tab sear for a really long time, especially when I use a Yost with a nice metal edge. I really like that. I've hunted with that before, and it's been successful for me. I use that in tournaments. I've done well in tournaments with it. But the same thing. It would just put a lot of tension in this arm here and cause not great releases at times, causing it to be inconsistent, causing me to not like it at all. So I wanted something that was outside of the system, that could be run by just like a gradual increase in tension. It wasn't something that I necessarily had to put all my focus into. So I was informed of this particular trigger, which is just the slight separation of my lips. So when I'm up at full draw, my jaw is separated. It always has been. I didn't do that just specifically for this trigger. It's just always been this way for Barebow. Because I shot NASP this way with my mouth open, anchored in the same spot. So Barebow, this is just a very natural transition. What this does, this allows me to create like a little bit of a vacuum, a little bit of suction, and a little bit of pull in between those lips for them to just pop apart. And when that pop goes is when I shoot. Full disclaimer on this is a very difficult thing to learn. It's going to take a lot of experimentation if any of you want to try it. And for me specifically, I struggle with it every day. Some days when I get in like that flow state, it is a subconscious movement and it's almost like running a back tension with a compound. And there's other days, or like at the beginning of tournaments where like there's more pressure, things aren't flowing as easily, where I have to treat it like a button, where I have to manually make it go to work. And it doesn't shoot as well then. It shoots really, really well subconsciously. When I get in my flow and I get in my groove, it works phenomenally. But if you're getting up to that point, it can be difficult. This is not for everybody. This is not a magic fix. It just helps calm my brain down when I shoot. As everybody probably has watched, when I was up on the stage, it was kind of like a disaster, right? I got my butt thumped. Not a single shot was controlled. So I still, like, even though I've been using this for a long time, there were still issues that came along with it. I wanted it to run subconsciously because I had run subconscious the whole weekend. And I stepped up on a stage with all the big shiny lights and a whole bunch of people and a camera in my face, and it subconscious did not work at all. So there's things to be worked out in this system for it to be perfected, even though it'll never quite be perfected. Yeah, there are downsides to this. This isn't a magic pill. As the way Joel Turner says, you have to work for it. It does not work for you. That's 100% true. I have put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of practice into letting it work for me in these lower pressure situations. So like your qualification round, like at Lancaster, my first 15 arrows were a little shaky, a little rough. And then once I started getting to the flow, I just started shooting really, really well. I shot the way that I normally do, like in practice. It felt no different. So the subconscious way of shooting it was easy. Matches, same thing. Started off a little rough, got more and more comfortable, but the scores weren't there because of external factors, nerves, anxiety, fear, all that fun stuff. And then up on the stage, I wanted to run it subconscious again, and it didn't work. So what I've been doing here on camera is I've been running it more consciously. I'll just be up at full draw. I get the aim done, and once it's settled and it's the way that I like it, then I just gradually start pulling these lips apart, relaxing them. Just something to get them to separate. Just that little tiny bit. And then once there's a little shot breaks. And that's what we do. What do you know? What else, Zach? What else do you want to know? Because I know you had questions. If you were a normal person shooting barebow that had no idea this existed, what questions would you ask?
How do you keep from anticipating when your trigger's gonna break?
That's part of it, right? That's why the subconscious version of it works so much better, because I just sit here and I'm not paying any attention to it. I have the tension set, the suction set, whatever you want to call it, and then I just keep pulling, and like my finger in the corner of my mouth on these two teeth will gradually break it when I pull. So it's acting like a back tension or like a clicker on an Olympic bow. So when I'm flowing, that anticipation really isn't there very often. But when I'm trying to work it like a button, when I'm here and I'm focusing on that, all right, pull apart, pull, shoot, that anticipation gets worse. And it's definitely there. And I don't really think there's any way to avoid it. You just have to stay really disciplined in your process and trust it. For me, I have terrible target panic when I don't use a trigger. It's very difficult for me to just get an aim at the middle at any point in time for any extended period of time. It's just like, we're there, bang, shoot. And that was somewhat successful for me, but I didn't shoot near as well as I wanted to. That's how I shot all of, I think, like 2021, 2022, when I made both of those world teams, went to Italy, went to Yankton for field and 3D. I shot it all that way. It was just very uncontrolled. And I didn't really like how it went. I was very anticipatory then, not shooting with a trigger. So really having that stop, because that's really all this is. This is just a mental stop. It helps me. I still have the anticipation, but for me, it'd be a lot worse if I didn't have it. I think I did a decent job of explaining that.
Yeah. Talk about what the tendency of the human brain is, as far as when you repeat a process, what happens?
Your brain just wants to like short wire it, right? Just over time, you get more efficient at it, so your brain wants to speed it up. And in terms of this, the first couple times that I would do it, or when I'm doing really well or focusing really well on holding, my brain's like, picture's good, send it. And I have to fight that. I have to fight the send it tendencies, because that sight picture does look really good. I hold really well. That rest wire sits right in the middle, nice and pretty. And because I've been so good about doing the trigger and having it be subconscious, I can sit there for a little bit longer. But my brain wants to bypass that because brain doesn't like surprise shots. I like surprise shots. Robby does, but Robby's brain wants to control it. and it wants to flinch and protect yourself. Joel Turner has a great program that teaches all about that and explode, like how your brain thinks a bow is an explosion, all that fancy jazz, pre-shot ignition movements. I don't do a great job of explaining it, but your brain wants to just continuously short circuit that movement. And we have to slow ourselves down, and we have to consciously walk through those things if we want to be controlled in our shooting. There's always anticipation in the shot. It's just how well you can stay solid, stay in your process, and run it the way you know how to. All right, cool cats and kittens. We're wrapping it up for the day. This is my last group. I never miss. Just kidding. We stuck this in here just for the video to look nice. How do I close the video out? What do we say? You don't know? Okay. That is my shot process. Fairly basic, fairly similar. Just because it works for me does not mean it's gonna work for you. Don't go changing everything to follow what I do. If you like something, try it. If it makes sense, try it out, use it. And if you like it and it helps you, by all means, go ahead and use it. Note on the trigger, it's not an end-all be-all. It's just a tool to help you. And my hope and goal is that by putting this out there for everybody, that there's somebody out there that has terrible target panic, can't even aim at the target, doesn't enjoy going to tournaments, sees this, tries it, and it works for them, and that they enjoy archery again. I know triggers are a heated topic at the moment because of some people winning some pretty major events with the trigger. What I want is for the betterment of barebow archery. I want more people to enjoy it. I want more people to get better. I want to elevate our sport to the next level with the little bit of knowledge that Zach and I have. So if this is something that resonates with you, try it out, see if it works. And I hope that it helps you. I hope that you shoot better. I hope that you enjoy archery and that you don't get stressed out or frustrated because you have a hard time aiming or you can't execute a shot looking at the middle of the target. So yeah, that was kind of the purpose and point of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with all of your friends. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to message either Zach or myself. We're here to help. We're here to make everybody better. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.